Marisha here, and I recently returned from a trip to the US, and I brought back a lot of things that I can't get here. So I thought I would share what those are. So if there are Americans watching who are thinking of moving to the UK, you want to get an idea of what are some of the things that I miss from back home that I can't get here and that you might want to pack when you come over. This video is for you. So, the first few things that I'm going to show, you might determine a bit of a theme to them. The first thing is jalapeno potato chips. Now, I have never seen just straight up jalapeno chips over here. I once found some cheddar jalapeno potato chips and they were terrible. Um, but just straight jalapeno, no. Similarly, jalapeno cheddar Cheetos, I have seen here, but only in American candy stores where the price is like 7 or 8 pounds. And if you're an American, you wouldn't know this, but American candy stores here are generally known to be like money laundering fronts for gangs from like Eastern Europe and Russia. So not only are they way overpriced, but also you don't want to support crime. It's sort of like a not well kept secret. Like people know about it, but I guess there's nothing the cops can do. I don't know. But generally speaking, avoid American candy shops if you're in England. So I've seen the in normal stores here, you can get regular Cheetos and you can get fiery Cheetos, but you can't get cheddar jalapeno. There's something about jalapeno that like the Brits just like don't do. And so finally, along that vein, the Frito-Lay jalapeno cheddar dip, which is amazing, but it has gone up considerably in price in the States. So I don't always get it when I go back, but this time I did. I told my mom ahead of time, like a few months ahead of time, keep an eye out. And if it goes on sale, pick one up for me. So generally speaking, if you like jalapeno flavored snacks, bring them over because you're not going to find them over here. Ranch seasoning mix. So for my British audience, I'm sure you've heard of ranch dressing. Um, Particularly in the Midwest in the US, ranch dressing is everywhere. It's not just for salads. We use it as a dip for wings, for vegetables. Some people will dip their pizza in it. It's so great. And these are packets of basically powdered seasoning, and then you mix them. If you want to make dressing, which I don't because you can find ranch dressing over here in Asda, and then some other places might carry Paul Newman brand ranch if you're lucky. But what I do is I mix it with sour cream and make a dip for dipping raw veggies in. So ranch dressing, definitely you need to bring it over. I've talked about peanut butter before. Obviously, you can get peanut butter over here, but it's not the same as American peanut butter. And I particularly like Jif Natural, so I usually pick up a jar of this on my way here. But again, I would say if you're not super picky about peanut butter, then don't worry about it because you can get it here at any grocery store. It's not as good. What you can't get, Laurie's seasoned salt. I found something that I thought was going to be like their version of this because it was the same color. For my British audience, this is a seasoning mix that is red because it has paprika, among other things. It also has like salt, sugar. What else does it have? Celery seed, turmeric, onion, garlic. It's great. I love it on popcorn. But what I bought, what was some sort of vaguely named seasoning mix and it looked like the color of Laurie's seasoning, and I tried it and it was just like no, not at all. So I'm not even going to try anymore. I'm not going to risk it again if I see something else that looks similar. Like nope, I'm just going to stock up on Laurie's and use that. And so for my British audience, the other thing that Laurie's is used for, I mean you can use it for lots of things. I'm sure other people maybe put it on like meats or other things. I don't. I just use it for popcorn, but I use it as one of the ingredients of a snack that we make in the States called Chex Mix. And that's named for this cereal that you can't get in the UK. Chex is the brand, so we do have generic brands, and so you can pick those up as well. Now, the UK has what is essentially wheat checks, shreddies. So your shreddies is like our wheat checks. But in addition to wheat checks, there's also corn checks like this and rice checks. And to make Chex Mix, the traditional recipe is that you use 3 cups of each of those cereals. So you got 9 cups of cereal all together. And what you do is you melt some butter, you add Lawry's seasoning salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and Worcestershire sauce. You dump in the cereal, you dump in some pretzels, some mixed nuts, stir it all together, throw it in the oven, bake it for like an hour, but you stir it every 15 minutes while it's baking, and then it is a fantastic, delicious snack that we usually make around the holidays. So generally, like Christmas, New Year's, you'll if you go to the States, you will probably run into this. It's so popular that Chex actually has started making Chex Mix in bags, but it's not as good as when you make it fresh at home. So I always like to bring some corn Chex. What I do instead of doing corn and rice, I just use like actually, I end up doing like 5 cups of corn Chex and 4 cups of shreddies, right? To make my mix because it's not worth it to me to try to pack 2 boxes of cereal in my luggage because it's really bulky. So I make do with just corn and not the rice. Um, the next few things are convenience foods, and I recognize that I'm sure a lot of British people, when they're watching this, are going to be tempted to make comments about how all the food that I'm bringing back is like garbage, and that's fine. But not that you guys don't have your own garbage foods. But the next three are very much like convenience foods, not snack foods, but they're convenience foods, and I recognize not the healthiest choice, but they're things that I go to when I like have had a really long week. I'm just exhausted. I don't want to spend time cooking. I want something that's sort of like a comfort food. So the first thing is this is a generic brand, but the brand that you would buy would be Easy Mac, right? So it's a Kraft mac and cheese, which is already kind of a convenience food, but this makes it even faster because you just put in some water, stir it, throw it in the microwave for 3.5 minutes, and then you have some mac and cheese. And these are great because it is very much a comfort food. Americans will understand when I say, like, there is a difference between homemade mac and cheese and Kraft mac and cheese. And yes, obviously, homemade is better, it's fancier, it's healthier, whatever. But sometimes you just want Kraft mac and cheese because that's what you had as a kid, and it's a comfort food. What I like to do with this is sometimes I will make a grilled cheese sandwich, or for my British audience, a cheese toasty. But in addition to a slice of cheese, I also put macaroni and cheese in it, and it's very toothsome. So that's a nice, like, really quick, easy thing to do. Another thing is I've not seen like packaged chicken, like shelf stable chicken that is just chicken. I've seen cans of like for lack of a better word, like chicken salad. It's like chicken mixed with some stuff, but just plain chicken that is shelf stable so you can keep it in your pantry. You don't have to worry about it expiring in a week in your fridge. I've not seen, so occasionally I'll pick up these packages of just like shelf stable chicken. So I've got it on hand. Again, if I'm like, I just don't have a lot of time to cook, or I don't want to go to the grocery store, or I don't want to buy a package of chicken and know that I'm not going to be able to use all of it before it goes bad. I don't like wasting food. Let me just throw it together like some chicken noodle soup, and this is the chicken that goes in it, and it's a quick, easy meal. Or again, chicken salad or whatever you want to do with it. So it's nice to have a few of those on hand. These also, because they are so small and light, a lot of times my mom will slip one or two of these into a package that she sends me, so I don't always have to go home to get it. Okay, bacon. So first of all, you can get American style bacon in the UK. They call it streaky bacon. Now, their just bacon is different. It's like a different cut. And yes, it's great. It tastes good. When I go out and have full English, that's wonderful bacon. I mean, bacon is bacon in terms of taste, but sometimes you want streaky bacon because it's a little bit different. texture or thickness, consistency. You might use it in different ways. So if I want streaky bacon and I don't want to, again, buy so much that it's like, can I use this all before it goes bad? I don't want to cook it up and worry about splattering grease all over the place. In the States, we have fully cooked shelf, like stable bacon. You pull some, like however many strips you want out of the package and microwave them for like 15 seconds and they're good to go. So if you just need something quick that, okay, I'm making an omelet quickly in the morning, I'll just throw this in the microwave for 15 seconds and then it's all ready to go and stick in my omelet. Or I just want to cook a couple of these and crumble them up and put it on a salad, whatever. Obviously, I know if you're bacon alone is not healthy, and if you're making it shelf stable, I'm sure it's loaded with all sorts of like sodium and nitrates. And it's like, I'm not eating this all the time. But again, sometimes in an emergency, I just don't want to bother with the time it takes to cook. Or again, like I said, I don't want to buy as much as I have to buy to get it fresh. So these are good to have on hand. The next couple of things are candy. I'm not a huge like American candy fan. I mean, obviously I ate it in the States, but the candy that I like to eat, I can get over here. I like dark chocolate, so just any dark chocolate works for me. That's my go-to. But American candy bars that I would most want would be like Reese's, and you can get Reese's here anywhere. Reese's, Kit Kat, M&M's, Skittles, those have all made it here. It's mainstream. You walk into any regular grocery store, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Waitrose, M&S, your corner store, they'll have them. Easy to get. But what I've not found over here, again, American candy stores excluded, is Butterfinger. So I love a good Butterfinger. I don't find myself in the UK longing for a Butterfinger, but when I go back home and I pick them up, I don't mind having one. It's like, oh yeah, these are really good. But what I like is because you can't get them here, is there a good thing to bring back to share with my British friends? So that's why I get like a bag of minis because then I can just put them like in a bowl. I've taken them to church and so people can try them. And again, because it's a mini, if they don't like them, it's not a big deal. But what I found is that most people do like them because they are really good. These ones I think are going to go to school for my colleagues there to try. So in the same vein, I've never done this before because it's not a candy that I'm like, yeah, I need to bring some of that back for myself to eat. But I just saw them and I thought, you know what, this might be funny to like show to the Brits, and that is Pixie Sticks. Although I got, I guess, a different brand of Silly Sticks, and it's just flavored sugar, sour sugar powder in a paper tube that you just dump in your mouth, which is like a very ridiculous and terrible concept, right? That you're giving kids like, here, just have this tube of sugar. So I just thought it would be funny for people to try, and also for them to compare the contents of this to candies, similar candies here, filled with something that they called sherbet, which is obviously very different from what we would call sherbet in the States, which is more like a sorbet, a fruit sorbet. The contents of this are basically the same as the contents of Fun Dip, and I watched a video of some British guys eating like traditional British candy, and one of the things was called Dip Dab. And I was like, oh, that's Fun Dip. So I picked up Dip Dab one day, and it is not Fun Dip. Like the sherbet that they have, completely different, and it's gross, I think. This is has like that sourness that's like really nice to it. And so that's another reason why I got the Pixie Sticks, because I thought it would be interesting for my British friends to try it and for me to say, like, look, this is what's basically in our version of like your dip dab, like that kind of stuff. So it's a very different flavor to like your sherbet. And then the last couple of food things are Michigan specific because that's my home state. And they're both cherry related because Michigan is the #1 producer of cherries in the US. And in fact, Traverse City, I believe, calls itself the cherry capital of the world, really well known for cherry products. And so, one of the things that I always like to pick up is a jar of cherry salsa, which sounds strange to a lot of people, but it works. It's really good. And this is another thing where I'm not really buying it for myself. I'm not bringing this back to London and just sitting in my apartment and eating chips and salsa until I'm run out of this. It's usually, again, something that I'm sharing with friends. So I took this to church once for them to try, and this one is going to my colleagues at the school for them to try. And then finally, dark chocolate covered cherries. I'm sure that I could find this in the UK. I'm sure they have all sorts of chocolate covered dried fruits at, like, if I wanted to go to Harrods or something like that, probably I can find it, but it's not Michigan cherries. And so I like to bring these, and this is for me. I'm not sharing this. I did make my mom made some little like gift jars for me to give to some people. So some people did get cherries, but this bag is all for me. And then the last thing that I brought is not a food item, and that's Bath and Body Works hand sanitizers. So they're these great little pocket size, hand sanitizers that you can use. And yes, obviously you can get hand sanitizer in the UK, but until recently they did not have Bath and Body Works at all. They do now, but I think it's only in London. It's new. The store on Oxford Street just opened within the last few months, I think. But what I will say is that one of these in the US costs $1.95, which with today's exchange rate is about £1.50. I went into Bath and Body Works on Oxford Street just to have a look around and see what kinds of things they had. Um, and these same hand sanitizers cost £4, which is ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. I was like, is this like, did they reciprocate tariffs? Like, is this a tariff thing? I don't know. Um, so not only is it way more expensive to get Bath and Body Works products in London than if you were back in the States, but also I don't think they had the same kind of line of fragrances. The one in Oxford Street didn't have the Halloween stuff out, and the ones in the US did, so I was able to get Vampire Blood, which is a really great scent. Um, so again, if you're American and you're planning on moving over here, if you have like a particular scent or whatever that you like at Bath and Body Works, stock up before you come here, because I can't guarantee that A, they carry that same scent, and B, that it's going to be a price that you'd be willing to pay, because you'll get sticker shock if you go into Bath and Body Works here. So those are the things that I packed to bring over that you can't really get over here. And I think that's probably it for my videos about kind of my time back home, and I'll move back into what are some fun things to do in London with my next video. So like, subscribe, tell your friends how gnarly this channel is, and I'll see you next time.